going to talk about something that I think is so incredibly relevant today, and that is showing up. I mean, just that simple act of showing up. 3 years ago, we wouldn't have said that's a big deal, but I actually am seeing that's a really, really big deal today. So I want to talk about that today.
Great.
But before we jump in, for those listeners that maybe haven't heard you on my other podcasts, share a little bit about your background, because I'm a tremendous Ken Keene fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love for them to hear a little bit about some of the career journeys that you've taken that have really shaped you as a leader.
Well, I came to Emory in the fall of August 2013. So I've been at Guazzetto Business School at Emory for a little over 9 years now. And I came there after spending a 38-year plus a few months career in the U.S. Army. So I came straight out of college, went into the Army, thought it'd be for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And like most things, I found that in this particular case, I loved what I was doing in the Army, and particularly I loved, sort of the teamwork and the community and the closeness of the brotherhood, sisterhood that you have with your fellow soldiers and that we were serving with at the time, and so I just stayed, and the Army sent me all around the world. I worked over 11 years overseas. I spent most of my career in what we call Special Operation Forces, 75th Ranger Regiment. I commanded 75th Ranger Regiment, spent about 8 years in the 82nd Airborne Division, commanded a battalion in 82nd Airborne Division, commanded a battalion and the regiment in the Rangers. And so I've been very privileged to have led some of our very best soldiers in our military. And then I thought when my career in the Army was over, I would transition and maybe go back to doing what I was set out to do when I entered the Army, which was I'd gotten my undergraduate degree in mathematics and secondary education. I thought I always wanted to be a teacher. I said, well, I'll go back and teach high school someday. Well, the Army, when they promoted me to general officer, I stayed about 9 more years and led at a number of organizations as general officer, but most prominently one that I talk to a lot of our students about and experience with companies and executives about around crisis leadership. I led Joint Task Force Haiti following the January 2010 earthquake in Haiti. Our military deployed over 22,000 men and women from all of our services to respond to that earthquake, and I happened to have been on the ground when it occurred and led that effort for about 4 months. And so that experience, after reflecting on it, there were a lot of great and hard-earned lessons about leading teams and organizations through chaotic crisis periods. So I've tried to incorporate that into the work that I do now at Guazzetto Business School.
Yeah, and for those folks that haven't heard my episode where I interviewed you about crisis leadership, you tell that whole story in depth. And it's a really powerful story, because when you say you were on the ground when it happened, you were on the ground when it happened. And it was, you had to quickly in that moment help to create some kind of calm and focus and lead in the middle of that. And then I remember you telling the story that then you got rewarded to, I believe, to then go over to Pakistan to kind of smooth over relations after Osama bin Laden was removed. Yeah, so also a challenge.
Yeah, that was another a great experience, and one that I learned a great deal from as well.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so, and then when you retired, what was your final title?
I retired as a lieutenant general or 3-star general. And in fact, I retired out of Pakistan as the commander of the Office of Defense Representative Pakistan is what we call it.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic.